What is going on, Hive Warriors? It's your boy Edward V, and today we're going to talk about four more intermittent fasting side effects. These are pretty important, and you're going to want to be aware of them before they happen if you're about to start intermittent fasting, or if you can't understand why they're happening. I'm going to go ahead and break it down in this video. Stay tuned. Alright guys, not going to bog you down with the Fledge fitness jump rope, but why wouldn't you want to have a jump rope with the ergonomic design, aluminum handle, and swivel design for only $16.50? You can get your jump in, burn a lot of calories, up to 1,000 calories on average per 30 minutes of jumping rope. You can't go wrong with the Fledge Fitness Jump Rope. You can click on the top right hand corner of this video or down in the description box below. And of course, as always guys, thank you for your support. Now let's go ahead and jump right into the video. All right, so we're going to talk about 4 side effects that you could expect from intermittent fasting. Now, keep in mind that these side effects may vary. Not everyone will have the same experiences, but hopefully, if you see these experiences happen, or if these are experiences that are currently happening for you, then this video will help you get through that. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is feeling weak and lethargic. Now, this comes in 2 different frames. Now, for the first time that you enter intermittent fasting, this is actually the thing that makes people stop doing intermittent fasting, because they don't get over that hump. I'm going to put it just like this. This is probably the easiest way to understand it. If you ever try to lift a heavy weight, for example, and you're trying your best and it's excruciating and it's very difficult and it feels nearly impossible for you to even get 10 reps on that heavy weight. But if you keep trying, you get 1 rep, and then the next day you get 1 rep and a half, and then the next day you get 2 reps in, and then the next day you can only do 2 again, but then the following day you get to do up to 4 reps, and by the time you know it, it was annoying at first, your body wasn't ready for it, your body wasn't adapted to it, but then you finally were able to go ahead and do 10 reps of that very heavy weight that has now become not heavy at all. Your body and muscle tissue and muscle fibers and twitch muscles have all gotten used to that weight. That's the same thing with intermittent fasting. It's literally the exact same thing. The only difference is you're not working with muscle, you're working with fat adaptation. So your body has to be comfortable using fat as energy, because that is what happens when you do intermittent fasting. It switches from carbohydrate or glucose energy to ketone energies that are derived from body fat. And your body technically doesn't want to be in this state because it prefers carbohydrates. It prefers glucose. It's always going to choose glucose if it has access to glucose. But your body has no choice, because you are doing intermittent fasting. It has to switch to ketone body, because you are removing the glucose in your system and not replenishing it with constant eating. So your body sends out all these signals. Your body doesn't want you to keep doing this, but your body is also very good at adapting. If you do it for about 2 weeks, your body naturally becomes fat adapted. Your body naturally starts to become fat adapted, and then it's easier, and you won't feel weak and you won't feel lethargic, and you actually get even to the point, for example, where I am and where many other people who do intermittent fasting are, where when you go to the gym, you feel even more energy because of that fight or flight sensation that you get from being in a fasted state. So you actually get the fight or flight sensation, and you feel that energy because you have become fat adapted. But also on the second frame, you can get weak or lethargic after eating. And this is simply an evolutionary thing that is connected to us. It's a trait from our ancestors that isn't as easy to shake off for everyone. You might eat, and then once you eat your big meal after you haven't eaten for a long time because you're doing intermittent fasting, You might feel sleepy and tired, but for a lot of people, that's a thing that comes and goes. For many, they time their eating window around the time that they're, or close to the time that they're about to go to sleep, so that they can offset that. But feeling weak and lethargic is a thing within intermittent fasting, but you just have to understand the other side of the bridge. Once you get over that other side, once you get over to the other side, you will be fine. The second side effect that you might experience with intermittent fasting, and this side effect is simply dehydration. And this happens because most people only focus on the foods that they're eating and don't really focus on hydrating themselves throughout the entire day. Now, this is important because if you're dehydrated, so many things can happen. It can cause irritability, it can cause headaches, so you want to be hydrated. And when you're not in a fasted state, or when you're not doing intermittent fasting, you have to understand there's water in a lot of things, not just water or juice or things to that nature. There's also water in your food. So you're constantly kind of hydrating yourself when you're not doing intermittent fasting, when you're just doing normal eating. And when you apply intermittent fasting, you inadvertently put yourself in a position where you're not hydrating yourself as frequently. I definitely recommend to avoid dehydration or getting those headaches and irritability by making sure that you are drinking things throughout the day that have 0 calories, of course, so that as to not break your fast, but still give you something to work with so you stay hydrated until your meal. This is incredibly important. A lot of people neglect this and only focus on the food. You should also focus on hydration, because you can, by accident, actually start to feel dehydrated or be dehydrated with intermittent fasting. Now let's go ahead and move on to number 3, constipation or the illusion of. Because with intermittent fasting, because you are eating less frequently, you actually are moving your bowels less frequently as well. If you are not feeling bloated, or you don't feel that it's difficult to push it all out, then you are not constipated. You simply have a changing of the scheduling, per se, of when you go to the bathroom or when you don't go to the bathroom. But keep in mind, you want to make sure you have a nutritionally balanced meal. And if you are eating a lot of food and it's not nutritionally balanced, i.e. fiber, you don't have enough fiber in your food, you can actually get constipated because you're compressing everything, but it's not nutritionally balanced to help move through your bowel system, to help move it through the intestines. So you want to make sure that you add fiber to your diet when you're consuming your meal. That's incredibly important. But also remember that you may think you're constipated because you're not going to the bathroom as frequently as you did before, but it's simply because your bowel movements are not happening as frequently as you did before. And let's move to the last and final one, but probably the more important one. Now, this one you're going to want to pay attention to. Number 4, the biggest issue or the biggest side effect that you will see with intermittent fasting is that you're going to probably have to buy more clothing when it's all said and done, because man, this thing is going to help you lose a lot of weight. That's it for this video. Of course, I want to thank my patrons for my Patreon. I'm going to go ahead and put the names right